You are now entering Nyghtstorm Nation.
All I have to say is this.
Child abuse.
If you are one of those people
Divorce.
that have been put down all of your life,
Infidelity.
beat up and trapped in a pit of woe,
Depression.
it is time for you to stand up with the Nyghtstorm Nation, because we aren't going anywhere.
Nyghtstorm, the man not afraid to be transparent, as I help real people with real issues. And my co-host is my queen, my stunningly gorgeous wife. Come on, baby.
Good morning, ATL, everyone all over the world, because I know you listen to us on your smartphone, no matter where you are. This is Toby George Nyghtstorm, the woman not afraid to tell the truth about things as they really are. And this is Nyghtstorm Radio, radio gone real, because we are you.
Now, Nyghtstorm Nation, if you're in the ATL, feel free to call in at 404-355-8699. And to all the Nyghtstorm Nation members around the country, call in at 1-866-923-2860. You can find out more about us, the Nyghtstorms, at Nyghtstorm.com. That's NYGHTSTORM.com. And you can also listen to our show on the talk radio page of Nyghtstorm.com. Now, we got a lot going on in the world, baby. What's going on, baby?
We definitely have a lot going on. That's why we're not going to waste any time and get right into it. Today, we're going to be talking about snatching back the power in your life. So let's get to this.
All right, now we got some incredible guests, and Sky, in my famous British accent, could you please play that music so we can introduce our first guest properly? Ha 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 ha! Yeah! Nyghtstorm Nation, our first guest is here. Take it away, my queen. Come on.
Being a business trainer since 1987, working with such companies as Ford, AT&T, Remax, Century 21, and Nordstrom, this former altar boy has attended 39 different colleges, but only graduated for 2 of them.
Now, fast forward to the present day. He is the executive director and global development for CEO Space, which just so happens to be the world's largest, oldest, and most successful organization for CEOs, entrepreneurs, and visionary investors. So, ladies and gentlemen, please help us welcome to Nyghtstorm Radio, the man holding the keys to the entrepreneurial kingdom, Mr. Dave Phillipson. Yeah!
Good morning.
Good morning, Dave. Good morning. How are you today?
Better than most, but not as good as some.
Okay, cool. Now, hold on, Dave, because you brought in backup, because Nyghtstorm Nation, Dave did not come in by himself. So, Sky, if you can kill that music, and once again, in my famous British accent, we have another incredible guest. So roll that music. Ooh, Nyghtstorm Nation, our second incredible guest. The backup plan is here. Come on, baby.
Standing strong as a proud fundraiser for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, this powerful woman of purpose has seen the worst that life has to offer, but refuses to give up.
Regardless of her circumstances of laying her son to rest, she is determined to empower people from all walks of life, that they too can change this world and create a powerful legacy for their children resting in heaven. So, ladies and gentlemen, please help us welcome to Nyghtstorm Radio, the extraordinary woman that is simply known as Calvin's mom, Miss Mary Carrillo. Yeah!
Hi, good morning. Wow,
welcome, Mary.
I love that introduction. It's so amazing. It's so empowering. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, it's all good, guys. All right, now, Dave and Mary, we have a Nyghtstorm letter. So are you guys ready to hear this Nyghtstorm letter so we can get into this?
Let's go hear it.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
All right, my queen, because I got to ask permission. My queen, may I please read this letter, please?
I guess.
All right, now, this is serious. Okay, Nyghtstorm letter number 1. It says, Dear Nyghtstorms, I have been listening to your show since you were on Blog Talk a few years ago, and I have always been encouraged to see you both stick together through some of the terrible times in your lives. But it was always YG and Toby dealing with something awful. But now I am in your shoes. YG talked about being homeless and sleeping on the streets of Atlanta. Well, I'm in a shelter right now because of my own bad choices. My wife has left me, and I've even lost the respect of my children. Both of you talked about attempting suicide in your past. I'm glad you failed, but I fear I may try and succeed. I've lost all hope on life. I'm listening to the show right now, and I hope you guys read my letter. And that is Trevor from Pittsburgh. Okay. All right. Now, Trevor, thank you so much for writing in, and thank you for not taking your life right now. Mm-hmm. And we got some of the best folks on right now for you to listen to, and we're going to get into this. Now, Mary, are you still there, Mary?
I'm here.
Okay. Now, we both have sons resting in heaven right now. Okay. Can you please talk to Trevor about your struggle and how you push past your pain to empower others to live?
Well, it's I have to say, the struggle's different, absolutely different for everybody. Mm-hmm. And it hasn't been easy for me. It's only been 13 months. Mm-hmm. But I know that I've heard this quote earlier that pretty much states, pain is empowering, and without pain, it's easy to not move or to move. Mm-hmm. And it's been hard having to live without my son, but at the same time, there's a huge amount of fire that drives me to empower others and to help others. For the reason that I know how deep pain is and how much it hurts. It's hard to compare yourself to other people's pain, mm-hmm. but deep inside how hurtful it is and how much you want to help others because of the pain, because you don't want anybody else to have to go through it. So it's definitely hard, and everybody's pain is different, and everybody's pain is very valuable.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Now, Dave, you've gone through an epic bout of homelessness yourself. Can you please talk to Trevor on what it took you, for you to get off the street and realize that your life was precious and worth living?
Absolutely, but Trevor, I'm going to take the gloves off a little bit. I'm not going to be so nicey. I'm going to tell you this, and I've worked suicide lines for a number of years, so I know that it's okay. Some listeners, the hair might raise up on the back of their neck with what I'm about to share with you. But the bottom line is this: you mentioned in your letter that losing the respect of your wife and your children is important. Think about it. If you commit suicide, you honestly think that's going to give you any respect with them? No way. And I'll say this, too. It's not going to cause them to want you here more. What's going to do it for you is just to suck it up, get things back in order, and you know what you need to do. There's nothing I or anybody else that can tell you what you need to do. You have the answers inside you. And if you don't know them, they're still in there. You just have to ask yourself better questions. And I guarantee you that if this is important to you, you'll get it back there. Because it doesn't matter. It's the same for all of us. Is that we go through life, and there are things that we wish were different. Sometimes there are things that are tragic, and we wish we could change them, but we simply can't. Those are behind us. At the other side of things, though, there are things that we can change, and that's usually within ourselves. So go through, sit down, get quiet, get a quiet place, and go through and start fresh. Hey, this is how I want my life to be, and start painting that picture. And as you paint that, you'll get stronger within you, I promise. And I look forward to hearing your story.
And can I add one more thing to that? That was great, Dave. I couldn't have said it better, but I do want to say, thinking of suicide and these thoughts, I don't think it's abnormal when you're going through such pain and when you're going through such, horrible situations. I think it's normal to feel this way. I think it's normal to have these thoughts as long as you don't go through with them. Mm-hmm. But I think it's normal to be so broken and so down and so shattered that you think there's no way out, that you think that this will help. And I would be lying if I'd say that I didn't have these thoughts. I never thought about going through with them. But I know it's thoughts that go through your mind, and it's absolutely normal to feel this way. And as long as we know, there's a reason, and there's a reason to be empowered, and there's more to life, and the want to live, and the want to make a difference, and the want to help others. And in your situation, your family is there for you, and your family needs you. And sometimes that's easier said than done, but it's normal to feel this way and to feel so broken and shattered, and there's no wrong in feeling this way. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I really agree with you, Mary, on that. And it is like the one thing you have to hold on to is the situation that you're in right now is a temporary situation. And you don't want to make a permanent decision for a temporary situation. We have all had money problems, relationship problems, things that we've gone through in life that it becomes overbearing. And you've made it through however many years that you have been alive. And I'm sure that you have had trials and tribulations at some point at each turn and, at some point during the year that you were able to get through and to get you through to this point that you are today, that at the time you were trying to figure out how in the world am I going to get this done? And there's no way that this is going to happen, or I'm going to lose everything. I'm not going to have a place to stay. I'm not going to have anything to eat. But obviously you're still alive. You didn't die from starvation. You didn't, have everything taken away to the point where you couldn't rebound. So just keep that in mind, because you never know what opportunity God has waiting for you when you open your eyes in the morning. I know for YG and myself, we go to bed with one set of issues and we wake up, and throughout the day, you never know what phone call is going to come, what person you're going to talk to, who's there to encourage you, let you know that they understand what you're going through, but they believe in you and that they have your back. And sometimes just those words, and I hope we're being that for you right now, you have the ability to get through whatever you are going through right now. Just take a breath and think. There's always 10 ways to solve a problem. The first 2 or 3 or 4, they come easy, but then you really have to start thinking outside the box as to how to get to those 10. So we just want you to think about that, because life is precious and you don't get an opportunity to hit the reset button like with video games.
Yeah, and I really love what Mary and Dave are saying, and you too, my queen. And Trevor, you intentionally talked about my bout when I was sleeping on the streets of Atlanta. So let me address this. And you talked about you made some mistakes of your own doing. You did take responsibility for that, but I'm also going to get a little bit deep here, and I'm going to cut deep as well. Nyghtstorm Nation knows when Toby and I got divorced the first time, and I was out there and I was homeless, and I had lost the respect of my wife. I lost the respect of all 7 of my children, and I had worked my way up, and I was living in a rat and roach infested motel room. And I was wondering what in the hell happened to my life. Well, the only person that was able to change my life, yes, I prayed, but the only person that was able to change my circumstance is me. Now, you've taken the first step. You took ownership and responsibility, and you said, yes, I did this. So now take ownership and responsibility of your future, because you are incredibly valuable to your family, and you do nobody any good dead. They need you, sir. And you said you lost the respect. Well, guess what? You put in a lot of work to get the respect in the first place. Don't lose what you have invested in your family and what your family has invested in you. They are just waiting for you to stand up and be the man that you are, that they fell in love with, that they honored, that they looked up to. So it's time to get up off that street like I did. It's time to work at any job that you can find. It's time to pick yourself up every day and know that your life is worth living, that you matter, sir. And I know you're listening right now. So Toby and Mary gave you the nurturing. Dave gave you the hardcore, and I'm giving you the facts. Your life is worth it. Now let's go. Let's get to work and find yourself in a better place. Make it happen for yourself, because the only thing that's going to happen with you in the state that you're in, you're going to die, and your family will eternally hate you for it. You can't help them when you're gone. And I know you love your babies, and I know you love your wife. Use that love and that power to stand back up and work this out. Now, we only got a few more minutes for this segment. Dave, do you have any last words for Trevor before we move on, sir?
Yeah, and I'll add, and because it can go on for others as well, is that we all have good days and we have bad days. Mm-hmm. The fact of the matter is as we look back at our life, we never know which they are until really way down the line. Something might have a perception. I remember when I contemplated suicide in 1991. I remember where I was. I remember what I did. And what changed for me is I said to myself, how would I hold myself if I had just won the lottery? How would I breathe? How would I think? How would I act? How would others see me? How would I see others? And just a wave of relaxation came over me. And when I look back at that moment, these several years later, I think how silly it was of me to think that. But at the same time, it was very real for me. And I also think, man, who was I then to even consider that? Because it's not even in my lexicon right now. And I think that's what we need. And when I got up off the streets, because I know we only got about 45 seconds left, I had to make the choice. I prayed to God and said, Father, please help me change my life. And I had to decide that I was going to be willing to let God do it, walk in it, and move forward. And we are here today, and I thank God that I'm still alive, because I would miss my children if I killed myself.
And we would miss you too.
I know, baby. And I love looking at your pretty face. I'm sorry. Now, Nyghtstorm Nation, we are about to go on a break, and we are talking to two incredibly powerful individuals, Mary Carrillo and Dave Phillipson, and we'll be back on the other side of the break to break down more ways on how you can snatch back the power in your life. You're listening to Nyghtstorm Radio. See you on the other side of the break. You ever been so depressed to where you want to hurt yourself because life has been unkind, unfair, and unforgivable? Folks done hurt you and thrown you away. Yeah, I know, because I was there too, until I read this book by NYGHTSTORM called All Action No Talk. This dude has been there, man. He understands us. He was homeless, abused as a child, abandoned by his dad, and even his oldest son passed away. I'm encouraged, because if this dude can make it, so can I, and so can you. So check it out at Nyghtstorm.com, NYGHTSTORM, and know that you have the strength to change your life despite adversity, like him, like me, like you.
Hi everyone, it's me, Lady Nyghtstorm, and have I got news for you. Want to know how to keep up with us and what we're doing in the community? It's easy. Just like us on Facebook at Nyghtstorm Radio. Follow us on Twitter at Nyghtstorm Radio, and become part of the Nyghtstorm Nation mailing list at Nyghtstorm.com. That's NYGHTSTORM. Keep up with all our promotions, contests, and latest happenings. Nyghtstorm Radio. We are you. This is Toby George Nightstorm, a.k.a. Lady Nightstorm, and I'm known as the woman not afraid to tell the truth about how things really are. And the truth I have to say to you is you should listen to Nyghtstorm Radio every Thursday from 11 to noon. And you should also like us on Facebook at Nyghtstorm Radio. Follow us on Twitter at Nyghtstorm Radio. And join the Nyghtstorm Nation mailing list on Nyghtstorm.com. That's NYGHTSTORM.com. Nyghtstorm Radio on Love 860 AM WAEC, Atlanta's inspirational talk radio station. We are you.
Storm Radio.
Yes,
and
we
we
are
are speaking with Calvin's mom, Mary Carrillo, and Executive Director in Global Development for CEO Space, Dave Phillipson. And we're talking about snatching back the power in your life. So feel free to call us at 404-355-8699. And if you're listening outside of Atlanta, 1-866-923-2860.
Now, that was an awesome segment. We need to snatch back the power in your life. Now, we got a second Nyghtstorm letter. Are y'all ready, Mary and Dave? Y'all ready?
Bring it.
All right, let's tackle this
Come
next
on, my
one, guys.
queen. Come on.
Already goes, Dear Nyghtstorms, I don't have the deeply hurtful, traumatic stories like you guys, but I do have a serious issue in my life. I keep getting in my own way. I got married and messed that up because I slept with my neighbor.
Wait a minute, hold on. Wait a minute. He said he got married.
And he messed that up because he
sleeping
slept
with his neighbor.
Right.
Okay, keep going.
And then he started a business and messed that up because I slept with my business partner and disappointed her.
Wait a minute, hold on, my queen. Now
he got a trend.
He got a thing for. He got a trend going. Okay, all right.
I coached a youth softball team, but slept with one of the moms and got fired.
What?
I put all of that foolishness to an end, but can you suggest a way for me to grow my business in a thriving environment while I can get tips from real business industry leaders? I promise not to embarrass you all and try to sleep with anyone because I don't want to lose another opportunity for being a loser in the sack. And this is coming from Steve from Memphis.
All right, hold on. Now, Dave and Mary, I don't know if y'all heard this
I'm
correct.
glad he stopped that pattern.
I did.
Oh, yes. Okay.
All right, now hold on. All right, now, Steve, thank you for calling from Memphis. Even Scott, our producer, is laughing. Okay, all right, now, okay, we're going to take your letter very seriously, sir, because obviously you being transparent with the things, and you are taking responsibility for what you do.
Because he said he stopped that foolishness.
He said he stopped the foolishness, baby. Mm-hmm. You can't be sitting here sleeping with everybody. Okay, come on. I know you got a question, sweetheart. Come on, baby.
All right, now that we've gotten that part out the way, Dave, as the Executive Director of Global Development for CEO Space, is there an organization that you can suggest to help Steve build his business and not his libido?
Yeah, Dave. Is there an organization that you know about, Dave, that can help this man?
No, that's a softball question if ever I've heard one. Go to globalceospace.com, globalceospace.com, or email me via dave@globalceospace.com. I'll help you with what you're working on, what you seek next. What CEO Space is, Forbes magazine said it's the #1 must for entrepreneurs. What we do is we help businesses get from where they are now to where they want to go very quickly and very inexpensively. And just a thumbnail sketch of what is CEO Space. It's the largest, the oldest, most successful organization in the world that is that's private by invite only. And it's also the highest integrity place. So you're going to be around people. They're going to check your integrity. They're going to hold you accountable. They're going to help you hold yourself accountable. And they'll cause you to want to hold yourself up to a higher standard. So it's going to leak in to other areas of your life. And I probably shouldn't use that word with other areas of your life after that letter. But I'll say this. So for your business itself, CEO Space, and it's globalceospace.com. For the other business, keep it zipped up.
Okay. All right. Great advice. Now, Mary, now I want you to tell us about your charity and how CEO Space has helped you. But first, Any other suggestions for Steve? I mean, because Dave said he needs to keep it zipped up. Just person to person, break it down to him. Why he need to stop with all this stuff going on?
But he said he did.
I know, but you know how it gets sometimes. You might stop for a minute.
Well, 3 strikes you out. He got it after the 3rd time. But go ahead, Mary.
Come on, Mary. Tell us about your charity and CEO space.
He only told us about the 3 strikes. We don't know if the's any more, right?
Yeah, that's what he shared. That's
exactly
yeah,
that's what he's saying.
Yeah, that's true.
It sounds like Steve's pretty busy, but which is it's not a bad thing to be. Busy is good. It sounds like Steve needs a lot of love, and it's not. Love is necessary regardless of what you're doing and what you're doing. But connecting with CEO space.
Wait a minute, hold on, Mary. So you're saying it's all right for him to be getting busy?
Well, it's not in this way. Not when it's destructive. We all need the love, and we all need all kinds of love, but not when it's destructive to your life. And
right.
I think Steve has come to a point where he's realized that it's destructive, that it's harming his life and his business. And I think as long as he realizes that, he can move on from here and start doing good and start changing. And it seems like he's realized it. So that's the first step to take. And it's good that he knows that. And like Dave said, with CEO Space, going there myself for the first time, I didn't know what to expect. And this is where the love was just pouring and overwhelming and such a great way. Going there, it's hard to explain it. People have asked me, what's exactly CEO Space? It's hard to explain what it is, but just being there, I was surrounded by so much love and comfort and so much support. And it's just the outpouring of sincerity and genuine love and caring. And everybody really there wants to help. Nobody's there for themselves. And everybody, although you're there to learn and to take from everybody else and to see how you can help yourself, you realize that you're there for one reason and you leave, or you're there and you find out a completely different reason. And this is why I think CEO Space is so amazing. And being there, you see that. And you can't see it and you can't believe it from somebody else's eyes, or somebody else is saying. You have to experience it for yourself.
Okay.
And you leave with so much. And I think, so many people know that. Some people have to see that, yeah.
And you were saying how CEO Space has also helped you with your charity. Tell us about your charity and about that wonderful, wonderful young man named Calvin. Tell us about him.
Calvin, he's my light. He's my life. And Calvin passed away March 24th of March of last year. And he was only 7.5 years old. He's my only child. And although it's been hard living without him, like I said, now I have a bigger purpose and a drive that drives me. And when I was invited to go to CEO Space, I was hesitant to be there because it was the week anniversary of Calvin's passing during March. And I wasn't sure if I wanted to be there then, and I wasn't sure how I would handle it. I didn't think about it too much. I just said, you know what, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it, and I did it. And the first day that I got there, I thought, what am I doing here? I don't know what I want to do. I'm not sure what's going on. But then as the days passed and the day of Calvin's anniversary, I let it be known. I mean, it was a hard day for me, and I let it be known, and people knew exactly what was going on. And everybody was so welcoming and so loving and so compassionate. And, with every hug and every tear that I shared with everybody, it felt so comforting. And it was just, it was so new, but it was unexpected. And when you receive this amount of love that is unexpected, it's so refreshing, and it makes you feel, it helps mend that in your broken heart. And I mean, I was there for different reasons. I thought I was going to go there to talk about what I'm doing with the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, but I mean, it turned out to be something completely different. But what I've been doing with the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society is a fundraising.
Okay. And
the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society is one of the world's largest agencies dedicated to cure blood cancer and to help patients and advocate and to fund research, which is absolutely important. Blood cancer research is very important to cure, and they have a campaign every year called the Man and Woman of the Year. And this year, I was nominated to run in their campaign as Woman of the Year, which to me was absolutely crazy. I thought, why me? I haven't done anything. All I am is Calvin's mom. And, you know, that alone is amazing enough. Being Calvin's mom.
And it's like sometimes we don't see ourselves the way other people see us. And the fact that they nominated you for this, it was like, okay, I don't understand. Because I know a lot of times with dealing with Victor's Foundation and what's going on with that, we just think of this is our child and we want to make sure that he's not forgotten. And we want to make sure that his legacy and his name lives on. But, you know, the people around you may see something in you that you are not focusing on just because you feel like that's your everyday work. This is just what you do. That's normal. You don't deserve any kind of, you know, award for what you're doing. But Mary, the fact that you are here and you're pushing forward and you got your charity going on for your son, that speaks volumes because it's so hard to move on when, you know, you have tragedy like that. And Dave, YG told me that you were in the process of writing a book.
Yeah, I told her, Dave. I told on you, bro. Yes, I did.
So you're here to help people like Steve find the right path to empower themselves and others as they grow in their lives and they want to grow their business. So can you elaborate on what you got going on with this book?
It depends on which book. I'm writing 7 books.
Wow.
I've gotten one book that was just released at this last CEO Space, which has published more bestsellers than any other organization, including The Secret, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Chicken Soup for the Soul. In fact, Chicken Soup for the Soul, Mark and Jack actually met at CEO Space. The title was invented there. Most of the early authors came from there, et cetera.
Yeah, okay. And those are all great. But you personally...
He said he's writing 7, so he said which one you want to talk about.
Okay, which one? Okay, I want you to talk about the one when you realized it was time for you to change your life, what it took to motivate you, and why in the world do you try to strive to pull that same type of character out of others when you see that they need some empowerment?
Okay, so now you've given me another book to write because that wasn't one of them.
I know you, brother. I know you.
And now what it comes down to is this. When you're looking at personal change, and this serves for both of the letters that we have today, and it also serves for anybody that wants to go through change, you have to realize first and foremost that you must change, and that you can change, and that only you can change it. Because until you have all 3 of those things, it may be a nice thought or a nice idea, but change isn't really going to come about because there's really not that fulcrum or that drive to get you over. For those of us that have ever been flat broke or that we've ever been contemplating suicide, etc., we could have changed much before we got to that point. But we didn't have situations in our own heart and our own mind that told us that we must change.
That's true.
And it's called threshold. You're only going to change when you have threshold. Other than that, you just move your bar of standards. But there becomes a threshold point, no matter what it is, that you decide. And when you decide, you cut off all other possibilities. And when you make that decision, then you can move forward.
Right. And
go ahead.
Yeah, and I was going to say I agree completely with that. And speaking of those thresholds and moving forward, Mary, you also have a very, very successful blog, and you're an incredible writer yourself. Because, I read some of your stuff, ma'am, and a lot of the Nyghtstorm Nation members have been reading it. And I know we're coming up to the end of this segment, but can maybe elaborate on your blog? What encouraged you, to continue to do this work, and how do you feel it's affecting the lives of other people who's reading your work, ma'am?
Well, my blog, I began writing this when Kevin was diagnosed with leukemia. And it's funny enough how I told you this story. Kevin was diagnosed with leukemia exactly 2 years ago today. And at this very minute, 2 years ago, Kevin and I were in the hospital just receiving this information.
Yeah, and that's 2 years ago today, like like April 30th.
Yes, yes, 2 years ago today, yes. Today's it's an emotional day, but it's a good day, and I'm taking the good with it. So I began writing this. It was mainly for myself. Journaling, I've always been just writing for myself. I began writing this for myself, and I kept it to myself for a long, long time until after Kevin passed away. I began sharing it with a few people, and I said, you should continue sharing it with others and so on. And I kept writing, and my writing is in this blog is very raw. It's very emotional. It's very real, and it's hard. It's hard to write and it's hard to read, but it comes from the heart. And I talk about my deep, dark moments and good moments, and moments full of joy and moments full of hurt and pain. And it's important for me for people to read this, just because people have come to me and say, you know what, I know how you feel. I don't understand it, but at least I can read it, and I can see, and I can, be more compassionate, not just to you, for others as well. And it's important to me that others are reading it because they understand a little bit. Even if it's just not for myself, they can be more compassionate and more caring and more loving to others, and ultimately just love harder, because we need more love no matter what it is. And anybody can find my blog. It's Calvin's Mariposa, which is Calvin's Maryposa. That's my name in it. Calvin's Mariposa at Blogspot, and it's a Google blog. And it's just like I said, it's very raw, it's very emotional, but it's real and it's genuine, and I'm putting my heart there. I'm putting my soul in exactly how I feel, and it's hard to read and hard to write, but it's real.
That's a form of therapy because
it is.
I know that when I was in counseling and was talking to her, the one thing that she was saying is write it all down. Everything that you're going through, every thought that you have at the moment, whenever you're doing it, just put it to a journal. And the thing that's just most exemplary to me is that you not only wrote it down, is that you put it out for the world to see in order for it to be a catharsis to help them to get through what they're going through. Because it's one thing that you write it down personally, and the good, the bad, the ugly stuff that maybe you shouldn't say out in public, but to really be able to purge in order to move forward and come out of that space is something that really, really helps you get through any traumatic time rather than holding it in.
Yeah, and I think when you put yourself out there and you're vulnerable, it's hard being vulnerable because people can, it's hard. But then if it teaches somebody else and if it helps somebody else, then I've done what I want to do. So it's hard for people to know how you feel sometimes, but it's there.
It's there. And Steve, hope you're listening, brother.
Exactly. So, Dave, I know that we want to talk more about you and what's going on with that book and how you got to the point where you could write 7 books at one time. Oh, my goodness. I'll be good to write down one blog on a piece of paper, but you're able to pull out 7 books. And I want to talk more to Mary about what's going on, and we're going to do more with that when we come back from the break. So continue to listen. This is Nyghtstorm Radio.
Event planners, are you worried that your next corporate get-together is going to be boring?
Then invite the Nyghtstorms to speak at your next event and electrify your organization as we break down how to grow your business, fix broken relationships, and conquer life challenges.
So make your next event epic. Invite me and the Queen to rock the house with inspirational techniques designed to empower individuals and maximize their true potential.
And thanks for listening to Nyghtstorm Radio on Love 860 AM WAEC, Atlanta's inspirational station.
We are you. Hey, you, guy or gal that's listening, are you enjoying the Nyghtstorms? Good. If you want the 411 on me, YG Nyghtstorm,
and me, Toby George Nyghtstorm, a.k.a. Lady Nyghtstorm, visit Nyghtstorm.com. That's NYGHTSTORM.com. Check out our informative blogs, videos, and see what Nightstorm Nation is doing to benefit the community. You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook.
Thanks again for listening to the Night Storms on Nyghtstorm Radio every Thursday at 11 a.m. to noon on Love 860 a.m. Atlanta's inspirational station. We are you. This is YG Nightstorm. And why should you listen to Nightstorm Radio? Because we relate to you or someone you know with topics taken directly from our lives. Every time you tune in, you'll hear a discussion about real subjects that affect real life. Why? Because me and the Queen have been there. So join us right here every Thursday morning from 11 to noon on Love 860 AM WAEC, Atlanta's inspirational talk radio station. Nightstorm Radio. We are you.
All right, we are back on Nightstorm Radio, and we are talking to the incredible Mary Carrillo and the awesome Dave Phillipson, and we got some pop-up letters here. And Sky, go on and turn that music off. Sky, go on and turn it off. Okay, now, Dave and Mary, are you ready? We got some pop-up letters that's been popping up since the show been going. Are y'all ready to hear these things?
Let's do it.
Dave, you there, brother?
No, I'm not.
Okay, all right. Now, pop-up letter number one. We're gonna read these real quick. Okay, pop-up letter number one says, "I have looked up Dave on online, and he is smoking hot. How in the world can I get the CEO space so he can help empower me?" Now that's just don't make no sense. That don't make no sense.
Well, Dave, how can they get the CEO space so you can empower them?
Reach out and contact me. It's Dave@qualityrealespace.com. I'm happy to help.
I'm sure. Okay, we got one from Mary also. Now this one, Mary, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, this one says, "I had the pleasure of reading the sweetest blog in the world." Mary named it Rebirth, talking about the joy she felt when her son got a bone marrow transplant. Regardless of the fact that he's in heaven, he is shining bright on such a beautiful, beautiful woman. Thank you for all that you do. Keep empowering people, and may God continue to bless you, ma'am.
Wow, that is very sweet.
That is very, very, very sweet. Wow, that's amazing. It's beautiful to know that people are reading my words and taking something positive from it, and from such a tragic situation. And I really, really appreciate that. It's empowering. And yeah, I mean, that was Calvin's when he obtained his bone marrow transplant. It's called Rebirth, and literally they strip you down and give you brand new cells, and you become a new person. So that was his rebirth. That was one of my posts. Yes. I recall that very, very, very much. Thank you for reading that. I appreciate it so much.
Not a problem. All right, Dave, we got another one for you. It says, "I have so much respect for Dave Phillipson because he is a man of principle. I watched him defend CEO space on this website where Bernie Dorman and the entire organization was being called a giant Ponzi scheme. Dave fired off legit facts about how they are supported by Fortune 500 CEOs and other Fortune 500 companies. Dave told the truth and shut this guy down to the point where even a Fortune 500 Forbes reporter jumped in and handled this dude. Thank you, Dave, for standing up for real entrepreneurs trying to help change the world." How you like that, Dave?
Oh, it's very nice. And, just to comment, what people don't realize is that anytime there's I won't use the word modicum, I'll say a massive amount of success, what happens is others are going to come out and try to take them down. They don't realize that Bernie Dorman has helped create more millionaire entrepreneurs than anyone else in history. They don't realize that, hey, why would all of these celebrities and athletes give an unpaid endorsement if it weren't true? They have their own reputations to defend. Why would two former commissioners from the Securities and Exchange Commission not only be members, but also lend their name, their expertise, and their contacts to the faculty of CEO Space? Why are the same people that branded Apple and Nike and Polo Ralph Lauren, why do they make themselves available without getting paid? They're paying their own way to get there. So why would they do it if it weren't something? And also, how could it last nearly 30 years if it weren't true?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when I see stuff like this that just doesn't make sense, and people just throwing stones from behind their keyboard anonymously, I'm not afraid to stick up for what's right.
And as well, you should not be, because the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah, I
basically.
saw that. I saw that actual article, and actually the young lady from Forbes.com, her name is Cheryl Connor, I believe. She stepped up and said some stuff. But I found that article, and I read it myself, and Dave was getting in on me.
I know, right? Now, Mary, what events do you have coming up, and how can people reach you?
Well, my events are mostly, for now, are based around the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, which I'm helping fund. And all of you can go to calvinsmom.com. And this is for fundraising. And every cent of this goes to blood cancer advocacy. It's all for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Every cent of it, patient needs, and what we need the most is cancer research. It's so necessary. It's very, very important that we do this. And the fundraising is obtaining to obtain a research grant in honor and name of my son Calvin, and this grant will go to research. Basically, is what we need. And you can go to calvinsmom.com. You can find all the information there. One of our events that's coming up will be this Saturday, and I'm out in California, in Orange County, California. We have an event with the big fight that's going on this weekend. You can find all of our information on calvinsmom.com and also on our Facebook. It's Calvin's Mom for LLS on Facebook, and you can find all information there and all of our events. We've had a few events left, and we only have exactly, as of today, 2 weeks left of our fundraising. This campaign was only for 10 weeks. We only have 10 weeks to reach $50,000, so we only have exactly 2 weeks as of today to make our goal. And this is, although it's going to be a research grant in my son's name, which is very important to me to have, and it's very, very important for me to have. Every cent of the funds will go for cancer patients, like I said, cancer advocacy and cancer research, which is very necessary. So go out there and please, with your good hearts and your kind-hearted souls, calvinsmom.com, and that'll definitely help, and help a lot of people in need, because unfortunately cancer touches so many of us. If we can help one person in any possible way, then we've done a lot. So yeah, absolutely. calvinsmom.com.
calvinsmom.com. And Dave, what events you got coming up, sir? How can people reach you? Which you done told everybody over and over again, but can you say one more time, and what stuff you got coming up, brother?
Well, if they want to meet Mary, they can come out tonight to our local CEO Space chapter in Southern California, but I don't expect anybody from Atlanta to be there.
Oh, they're listening all over. We're on your smartphone, so they're on the iHeart and Tunein and
is nationwide,
everywhere.
brother.
So you might just be surprised.
Yeah, I'll be there.
It's silly me. The CEO Space happens 5 times a year. The next is coming up the very first week of June. But it happens every March, May, August, October, and December. And it's May 31 through June 7 is the next. And I'm happy to help anyone get there. But before we do that, because we're private by invite only, let's have a conversation. Let's get you qualified, take you through an interview, make sure there's a fit, make sure there's benefits for you, and then get you plugged into CEO Space.
All right, and I want to tell you guys this, Mary and Dave, I want to say just on behalf of a lot of people who have been listening to Nyghtstorm Radio, on behalf of a lot of people who are going through some serious traumatic issues in their life, or trying to be like Steve and have realized they've gone down the wrong path, taking responsibility for their actions and needing some help to move forward, I want to tell you that both of you are true champions. And I say this because I know the issues that you have been going through. I know where you have come from. And the fact that you have decided to not allow circumstances and horrific events to hold you down, to make you give up on life and everything that is precious to it. You have decided to stand up and be voices of reason, voices of perspective, and true leaders to help people see that, yes, there is a tomorrow after the darkness. And I want to say how much we appreciate you here on Nightstorm Radio. And thank you, Sky. I appreciate those applause because they have deserved it. And you guys, I want you guys to continue to empower others. And regardless of what people have gone through, there is a word that can help folks traverse an ocean of obstacles. And that word is love.
Yes, it is.
And as Sky is playing the love shout-out music, this is our time of the program where Nightstorm Nation gets to send some well-deserved love to each other. So who we got up first, baby?
Well, we have Linda, and she sends her love to Martin as they're celebrating their 18th wedding anniversary this weekend.
18th wedding anniversary. And Justin sends his love to his girlfriend, April, for saying yes to his wedding proposal yesterday. That's what's up.
Mary, is there anyone that you would like to give a love shout out to today?
I do. There's a lot of people that have been absolutely helping with the campaign and everything that everybody has been doing, and everybody has been so good-hearted, and I appreciate that so much. And my team, which is Calvin's Combat Crew, my girls have been working so hard, putting every event together and helping me, and even just picking me up when the days are just way too hard. And my brothers, my family, everybody has been so amazing, and everybody who I work with, I appreciate everybody's kind-hearted heart, seeing how amazing everybody is. Dave, every time I saw him, I gave him a big hug. He's so amazing, and he's so wonderful. And everybody who has been helping, and just even a smile makes a difference. Just a sweet, I'm thinking of you makes a difference. And, when you're going through such a heartbreak, every piece of anything makes a difference. And I appreciate everybody's help, everybody's love, and everybody's genuine, kind-hearted words during this tough process, and just in general for this campaign. This is so big and so important to me, and I really, really, really appreciate it. Just to everybody, and I appreciate everybody's help. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. And what about you, Dave?
Yeah, I would say the three of you for being on the call with me, certainly all your listeners. But I think most importantly, and maybe we can all give a little bit of heartfelt love to the victims of Nepal and their loved ones, and the good citizens of Baltimore that have suffered through what they've gone through recently, from people that weren't coming from love, and they were coming from the opposite side of it. Martin Luther King said that violence never solves anything. And if we do come from love, no matter what it is in our life, we can get through it.
Amen.
Exactly.
Amen to that.
Well, I want to send a love shout out to you, Dave, and also to you, Mary. And thank you so much for being guest on our show. I want to send a shout out to my king sitting over here, Mr. NYGHTSTORM, because you make it happen and you do what you need to do to keep this thing going and rolling on down, even when you I'm sitting down for a minute.
Well, sweetheart, I also want to give you a complete love shout out. You are my queen. You are my life. You are my essence. And without you, there would be no me. And I thank God for blessing me with you, because you give me a true purpose to keep going. All right?
That is beautiful. That is so amazing. I love that.
That's my baby, Mary. That's my baby, Dave.
He always want to upstage me, whatever.
Okay, and Sky, quickly, our producer Sky, you want to send some love to somebody, sir?
Oh yeah, I got my 17th anniversry coming up next weekend.
Yeah, 17 years.
So my love goes out to my wife Amy. Ti amo, mi amorosa.
There you go.
Congratulations.
And of course to my three kids, Tia, Tori, and Kira.
There you go. Thank you, Scott.
All right. Well, thank you, Sky. And thanks to Calvin's mom, Mary Carrillo, and David Phillipson of CEO Space, and all of Nightstorm Nation for their letters. reach out to us on Nyghtstorm.com and at Nyghtstorm Radio on Twitter and Facebook. And we just want to thank you so much for being part of Nyghtstorm Nation.
Yeah, and
Thank you so much for having us.
And guys, we always end the show with the We Are Nyghtstorm Nation pledge, and it goes: stepping out of darkness and into the light. We are here together in the combined power of individuals who dare to be above the status quo to initiate change.
Regardless of our inadequacies or the mistakes that line our past, we make the difference of success over failure within our families, our businesses, and our community.
We come together as one body, one soul, and one mind, spreading the fruitfulness of truth and empathy to those that need it most.
I love me, I love you, and we will change the world.
We are Nyghtstorm Nation, and we are you. God bless you guys. Have a great week. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Dave. Keep empowering the world.
Thank
God
you
bless.
so much.